Hello and welcome to this overview session on SAP Business One Release 9.0. My name is Sally Kingston and I'm part of the Ecosystem Channels Readiness Group. I will be providing you with an overview of the many enhancements we have delivered with this release. The main objective of this session is to really enable you to give an overview about the new functionalities within the 9.0 release and for you to be able to articulate the real benefits that come with this release. In addition to this overview session, we will be preparing a series of detailed sessions where you can really deep dive into the functionality of some of these new enhancements. Firstly, I'd like to briefly say a few words about this release and the key focus and strategy behind Release 9.0. This is the first major release for Release Family 9. There is only one major release for every release family. The key focuses behind Release 9.0 was to make Business One easier to implement by introducing a centralized implementation framework within Business One and extending the current implementation tools to help manage implementation tasks and projects. The next key focus was to make Business One easier to customize and extend by offering a new development tool, the SAP Business One Studio Suite, and the new SAP Business One Workflow platform, in addition to improvements to the SDK environment. We have improved integration with a number of SAP add-ons fully integrated into the core product, and will introduce our electronic data interchange capabilities for Business One. We have continued to invest in extending our core functionality across a number of different business logic and reporting and analytics functions, and support a number of new key business processes to promote greater industry focus for inventory-based businesses. So let's have a look at the agenda for this session. The next two slides outline the agenda for this session, which are broken into key areas of investment. We will first launch into a number of business logic enhancements that focus on key business processes, from bin locations right through to landed costs. We will then provide an overview of several localization-specific enhancements and reporting and analytics with a focus on SAP Crystal Reports 2011 and SAP Crystal Reports Server 2011 and enhancements to the Electronic File Manager. We will then cover a range of topics including business infrastructure that highlights the new implementation center, and business process integration, where we will introduce you to our new EDI capabilities for Business One. We will then highlight several key features on extensibility and supportability, where we will introduce you to the new SAP Business One Studio Suite, which is the next generation of Screen Painter, and the new Business One Workflow platform, enabling users to define workflows to customize business processes in Business One. There are also a number of additional SDK enhancements. This is followed by technical infrastructure topics from 64-bit support through to enhanced security compliance. We will then finish off highlighting several lifecycle management topics, including key improvements with the installation and upgrade of Business One and the new remote support platform, Release 3.0. Before we dive into the business logic topics, I'd like to introduce you to the new SAP default skin called the Golden Thread. This is the new default skin style for SAP Business One Release 9.0. There will now be 3 skin styles available to choose from, depending on your preference. You can easily change back to the SAP Signature Design or Classic Skin from the General Settings window. There are quite a number of topics to cover, so let's begin with our first business logic enhancement. Our first topic is a new business process for handling bin locations in Business One. Most inventory-based businesses require the ability to locate items within their warehouses and therefore require bin location functionality. A bin location is defined as the smallest section of the warehouse in which an item of inventory will not be lost. The ability to efficiently locate inventory within a warehouse facilitates a number of key business processes from picking right through to quality segregation. In Business One, you are now able to activate bin location functionality per warehouse. Warehouses can now be split into multiple sublevels, supporting 4 sublevel dimensions such as zone, area, shelf, and row. There is also the flexibility to support hierarchical or non-hierarchical bin location code scenarios. Bin location codes can be set up with up to 10 user-defined attributes, which is useful for segregating items with special characteristics or needs. With some organizations managing thousands of bin locations, these sublevels and bin location codes can easily be managed manually or automatically with batch generation, update, or delete functions. Default bin locations are available per item, item group, and per warehouse. In order to support bin locations, inventory processing needs to support flexible allocation processes. Business One allows you to define a number of different automatic allocation processes for receiving or issuing goods, making these processes as streamlined and automatic as possible. A number of new bin location screens have been created to support these processes, including allocation rules for handling serial and batch managed items. Standard inventory processes have been enhanced to support bin locations, the replenishment of bins, bin location visibility for item availability, inventory transfers, inventory counting, and barcoding. There are also enhancements to the Pick and Pack Manager and various picking methods, which support simple bin numbers and sequences. Reporting on bin location movements and activities in real time allows companies to make better decisions and provide benchmark information for KPI setting. Reporting is a critical part of the overall process, and relevant existing reports have been extended with bin location information, supported by several new reports including a bin location list and a bin location contents list. You also have the ability to view bin location transaction history linked to item ledger transactions and corresponding documents for greater transparency. Companies experience many advantages from using multiple bin inventory systems to optimize stock movement and for faster order processing. For example, a multiple bin inventory system considers the speed that employees process orders. Shipping employees, for example, read customer orders, gather the items listed on the order, and load them on a delivery truck. When the company places an inventory bin of finished goods inventory near the shipping area, employees take items right from the bin to load on the truck. This eliminates the need for employees to travel through the warehouse to locate each product. Auto-allocation facilitates and supports different picking requirements and processes, significantly reducing picking time. Accelerated cycle counting increases efficiency whilst better managing the replenishment of items. It is also easier to manage reserved products. For example, some customer orders require finished products ready for shipment and additional products that are not ready. Another advantage of using a multiple bin system involves the ability to reserve products for specific orders while waiting for the rest of the products to arrive. Shipping employees could use separate bins for each order. Items ready to ship on the first order go into the first bin. Employees place items ready for shipment on the second order into the second bin. This prevents other employees from using these items. We now have enhanced visibility of inventory levels. When inventory levels decline in each bin, employees need to replenish the items or risk running out. Employees can now see the physical level of each inventory item decrease as they remove items from the bin. As this level declines, employees can see the change and replenish the items. Another advantage of using bin locations is minimizing the potential risk to the inventory from a disaster, for example, such as a fire or unethical employees with access to a higher quantity of inventory. Real-time inventory positions allow enterprises to make better decisions, and warehouse efficiency reporting may help provide benchmark information for KPI setting. So as we have highlighted, there are a number of benefits to supporting a multi-bin location system. Inventory counting is a recurrent activity in every item-based business. Matching the actual items availability and the quantities saved in the system is crucial for reporting the right transactions and for inventory management. Cycle counting is the process of counting inventory items throughout the year based on a schedule. so that all items are counted at least once a year. Generally, the primary focus is on items that move more frequently, with less attention given to items that move less frequently. The main goal of this end-to-end inventory counting process is to provide a dynamic process for counting and posting stock quantity differences, and to view the counting and corresponding posting records. To achieve this, we have linked cycle count recommendations to the stock-taking process, with the ability to define more flexible count frequencies and set recurrences for these frequencies. You can define your inventory cycles per warehouse, bin location or item level, and receive alerts for items that are due for inventory taking. We have a new centralized inventory counting document to record and manage the inventory count process. Inventory count results can then be recorded and managed from a new inventory postings document. This new process supports more than one inventory taker to stock take within the same area, and then you can record and compare results of the two inventory takers. You also have the ability to freeze items while counting, and the flexibility to skip the counting process and be able to create posting records directly. You can view inventory counting documents in the Open Items list. To support batch and serial managed items, you can now count the exact number of serial and batch managed items. Bin locations are also supported throughout the inventory counting process, which also supports different units of measure. There is a new centralized inventory taking report that can display all inventory count and posting information. This is supported by an inventory counting recommendation and risk assessment dashboard report, which analyzes the risk for inventory counting per warehouse. The risk assessment is defined per item per warehouse using a number of predefined parameters such as days since last inventory count, or transaction volume, or item value, for example. The key benefits to this new end-to-end stock counting process is that it provides greater reporting accuracy for overall inventory management and supports a much more dynamic and transparent counting and inventory posting process. You also have the ability to really analyze quantities and differences while the inventory count is in process and has been completed, and compare differences between two inventory takers. The whole process is much more flexible, from setting up count cycles to posting corrections of stocktake records. In previous versions of Business One, there was no simple way to support multiple units of measure for items for different transactions. Business One now has the ability to group single units of measure together based on a subset of conversion rules. The default unit of measure can now automatically be converted to an alternative unit of measure in transaction processing, providing the flexibility to sell and purchase in any unit of measure required. To support multiple units of measure, price lists can be updated for each unit of measure, and you can have a different barcode standard per unit of measure per item. You also have the ability to define different packaging types per unit of measure to support the varying sizes. Companies are now able to establish common units of measure used in their businesses, and these multiple units of measure can then be utilized across their master data, inventory, and marketing documents. A purchase request is generally a document generated by a specific department or storeroom personnel to notify the purchasing department of items it needs to order, the quantity, and the time frame in which they need these items. It may also contain authorization information to proceed with the purchase. Purchase requests are also known as purchase requisitions. It is also a request to make a purchase using company funds. Some companies require a purchase requisition for all purchases, and others only require them for certain types of purchases. Business One now supports purchase requisitions with a new purchase request document, which is used as a preliminary step to the purchasing process. You can now create purchase quotations based on purchase requests from the Purchase Quotations Generation Wizard. A new purchase request report provides an overview of all of the purchase request items and corresponding information, and from this report you also have the flexibility to create purchase quotations or purchase orders. A notification may be sent via email or from within Business One when a purchase order or goods receipt purchase order has been created for your purchase request. Approval procedures also support this process. Purchase requests save time for the purchasing department because it gives them all of the information they need to create a purchase order. Having as much information as possible before a purchase is made reduces expenses related to return items that were not what the requester expected or which a supervisor did not approve. Purchase requests also create a paper trail for departments trying to discover who authorized certain purchases. Purchase requests allow a company to track expenses before they are made in order to remain within their budget. They also allow a company to see which departments or employees are spending more than others, which can really help with budget planning or cost reductions. Purchase requests can be used for both items and services. Price lists and discount groups have been enhanced with a number of new features, such as the ability to flag each price list and discount group active or inactive, and set a validity period for them. This gives you better control over price lists and discount groups. In 9.0, you can maintain up to 3 prices in 3 different currencies per price list. This gives you the flexibility to sell a product at different prices across different country markets, which are not bound by conversion rates. You can also now assign a price list to a customer or vendor, not only directly in the Payment Terms tab of the Business Partner Master Data, but also via the customer or vendor groups. This gives you more flexibility within your price model. You can also maintain prices per units of measure. This enables a company to handle different prices depending on the units of measure. More flexibility has also been added with the possibility of currency selection for special prices and period or volume-based prices. Discount groups can be created for all business partners or business partner groups, and they can be created for specific items. Discountable control lets you exclude discounts at an item master data and business partner master data level. Finally, price and discount reports help you analyze your price and discounting model, and you can analyze prices and discounts within a transaction. So these new pricing and discount features allow for greater flexibility, control, and transparency. There are a number of improvements implemented in version 9.0 when it comes to working with check payments and deposits. The new version is much more versatile and flexible and makes running day-to-day business an ease. In previous versions of Business One, payment cancellation could only be possible if there were no deposited checks. In case of a payment being deposited, you needed to first cancel the deposit and then the payment. In Release 9.0, users are now allowed to cancel an incoming payment even if there are deposits connected to the payment. The deposit is not required to be cancelled and can therefore remain as is. The payment will be cancelled by creating a reverse journal and the invoice will be opened. The check register will be updated with information stating that there are deposits connected and payment details will not be cleared, and the check status will be deposited yes and cancelled no. Partial cancellations of deposits are also supported. This can be done by either choosing the appropriate check line or selecting Cancel Row in the deposit form, or in the check register by choosing the check line and selecting Cancel Deposit. Both ways will lead to the same result. The cancelling journal will be opposite to the original journal amount. Cancellation of non-deposited checks will occur in accordance with current cancellation rules. Check statuses will be updated, payment details will not be cleared, and there will be a link to the cancelling journal entry. This more streamlined process has provided increased flexibility in payment and deposit handling. In some countries, it is not legally compliant to create a credit memo for an incorrectly added invoice. The invoice itself should be cancelled instead. This function is commonly known as void, or voiding an invoice or store no, and is currently supported in Business One with limited scope for certain document types only. Cancelling a marketing document should really reconstruct the past in a way that the cancelled document had never been added. Business One now supports the cancellation of marketing documents where the original document is reversed, but the document itself remains in the system. When you cancel a marketing document, a new cancellation document is created during each cancellation procedure. Any relevant accounting, fiscal, financial and inventory transaction is reversed, and the connection between the documents will be similar to the connection between an invoice and a based credit memo. There is only one cancellation logic applied, and both reversing and reverse documents are closed automatically and fully internally reconciled. Base documents linked to cancellation documents are reopened after cancellation and can be used as a base document again. You also have the flexibility to define a number of days for allowing cancellation of documents after posting, and relevant authorizations support this process. This new cancellation feature now supports localizations that need to properly avoid incorrectly added documents and can save time with one complete cancellation step. The advanced solution for general ledger account determination is a new way to determine your GL accounts. It is activated under the Company Details Basic Initialization tab. The checkbox will be activated by default for new companies created in 9.0 and will be unchecked by default for companies upgrading to Release 9.0. In both cases, the user can choose whether or not to use this feature. Alternatively, the old definition methodology can be applied. The GL account determination window has a new column indicating any special rules. Also, the advanced settings can be accessed via the GL account determination window. The definitions are no longer accessible from item master data, warehouse and item group settings. All GL account determination settings are now accessed via one centralized point under advanced settings. Users will be able to activate all or some of the rules. Users will also be able to set the priority for the rules. Note that for upgraded companies, the warehouse code, item group and item code will be checked by default. Otherwise, all rules that are in use will be active. You are able to track any changes to the GL account determination settings, which will help audit any changes or issues. This is done using the changelog feature. This new advanced solution for determining GL accounts is much more flexible and simple to use in one single point of access. Fixed Assets has now been fully integrated into the core of Business One Release 9.0. This means the capabilities have been enhanced to meet demanding local and international requirements. The new version is able to handle different accounting areas and meets reporting requirements for internal purposes, tax accounting and international reporting standards. The whole functionality is embedded into Core, providing an end-to-end process for managing fixed assets or supporting the Business One infrastructure. Settings, authorizations and master data are all in the Core product. The whole life cycle of fixed assets is now manageable with Business One functionality. In addition, customer-specific modifications are also possible with the aid of user-defined fields. This slide highlights a number of additional functional enhancements, such as accounts payable invoices supporting landed costs, the ability for landed costs to be created directly using the copy from function from an AP invoice without the need of a goods receipt. This supports a more streamlined procurement process without goods receipts, saving processing time and increasing efficiency. Next, we have dropship and serial batched items. The dropship process now supports serial and batched managed items. You can set up or allocate serial numbers and batched managed items by activating Manage Serial Numbers and Batches in the Warehouse Setup window for dropship warehouses. The next feature is about the item cost for an item that has been returned via an Accounts Receivable Returns or Accounts Receivable Credit Memo, which can now be updated if it has no base document. This feature is activated by checking Allow Changing Inventory Cost for Document without Base Document in the Document Settings window. A return cost field has been added to the AR Returns and AR Credit Memo documents to update the inventory cost at an item level. Lastly, the internal reconciliation function in Business One has been extended to support system currency management. New posting accounts have been added to enable automatic system currency postings when performing any type of internal reconciliation. The next slide will list a number of localization-specific enhancements to better meet our localization requirements. Intrastat is the system for collecting information and producing statistics on the trade in goods between countries of the European Union. Trade statistics are an essential part of a country's balance of payments account and are regarded as an important economic indicator of the performance of any country. The Intrastat system allows custom authorities to provide national authorities with statistics on dispatches and arrival of goods by collecting relevant data such as value and quantity of goods, arrival, dispatch information, and the nature of the transaction. SAP's Intrastat add-on has now been fully integrated into the core of Business One Release 9.0, maintaining existing functionality but also focusing on enhancing usability. Usability has been enhanced to improve overall functionality, and some of these usability enhancements include decreasing the duplication of data, enhanced importing and filtering options, and the ability to store reported data for review. Specific localization requirements have also been met, and this functionality is available to all EU localizations. The correction invoice is now available for selection when running the payment wizard for all localizations that require a correction invoice. This provides greater flexibility in the banking process and addresses specific country legal requirements. Deferred tax can now be managed via manual journal entries, journal vouchers, recurring postings, and posting transaction templates, in addition to supporting marketing documents. This change is available to all countries that use deferred tax functionality and addresses country-specific legal requirements for VAT. The next two enhancements are not really specific to a localization, but will support localizations that require more flexible reporting. A number of enhancements have been made to simplify the creation of financial reports and increase system flexibility with financial reporting. When users prepare a report using a specific subset of GL accounts, it is now possible to save the selection criteria, including the expanded selection. Users now have the flexibility to save a selection for IFRS, US GAAP, group reporting, or for any legal purposes, and use these consistent settings repeatedly. The Find option for selecting GL accounts has been expanded so users will more easily be able to search for relevant GL accounts. The GL accounts may be displayed in the standard form, and there is also the possibility to add columns for GL account selection. This enhanced flexibility in financial reporting will make it easier for users to search and set GL accounts for different financial reporting requirements. And lastly, you now have the ability to complete the down payment process using the manual internal reconciliation functionality, which provides greater flexibility for customers who manage specific down payment requirements. It meets all localization requirements with specific tax postings, and the extended feature is now available to all localizations. The following two slides will highlight enhancements to the reporting and analytics functions in SAP Business One Release 9.0. With SAP Business One Release 9.0, the SAP Crystal Reports 2011 runtime has been integrated into the core application, and SAP Crystal Reports 2011 Designer will be available as well. You can then develop and edit reports and layouts in the Crystal Reports 2011 Designer and preview and print them in Business One. Another major enhancement is the new integration of SAP Crystal Reports Server 2011. With this integration, it is now possible to upload reports from Business One directly onto the SAP Crystal Server platform, preview the uploaded reports from Business One, and finally access or share the direct URLs of the uploaded reports of SAP Crystal Reports Server. Crystal Reports Server software can allow you to securely open, view, interact with, and share reports and dashboards over the web. You can enable your business users to access reports and dashboards with interactive graphs and what-if scenarios, empowering them to make better decisions. As of Business One Release 9.0, the Electronic File Manager can create multilingual electronic file formats based on the selected display language in Business One. With this feature, it is now possible to translate the menu name, report file parameters, and validation messages of the electronic file format. With the import and export functionality, the translation process may also be outsourced. This new feature will really support global businesses with multilingual environments. Business Infrastructure focuses on SAP Business One's new Implementation Center, which is a collection of 3 main implementation functions within Business One, which includes implementation tasks, implementation projects, and configuration management, which was initially introduced in Business One Release 8.82 and is now part of the Implementation Center, but will not be covered for this session. The Implementation Tasks function combines 4 common implementation tools. The Express Configuration Wizard, as we know today, also known as ECW, which was first introduced in Business One Release 8.82 and has moved into the Implementation Center, Implementation Tasks, under Configure Company Settings. The functionality has been extended to also include General Ledger account determinations. The Data Transfer Workbench, also known as DTW, has moved into Implementation Tasks under the Migrate Data from Legacy Systems section. The functionality has also been extended to support units of measure, bin locations, GL account determinations, and fixed assets. The Solution Packager has also moved into the Implementation Center, Implementation Tasks, under the Package a Pre-configured Solution section. This functionality has also been extended to support units of measure, bin locations, GL account determinations, and fixed assets. The SAP Business One Quick Copy tool is a completely new developed solution in the core application which copies data between companies. It follows a similar concept to the Copy Express add-on. So we now have a centralized solution for managing and utilizing key implementation tools for Business One. The Implementation Project is a project management checklist based on the Accelerated Implementation Program methodology. There are 3 project templates available, which are also available in all languages supported by Business One. You can now create your own project templates based on custom implementation methodologies, for example, and incorporate special steps for add-on solutions. Another great feature is the possibility to incorporate drill-down arrows to directly link from a step to a Business One form in order to process this step. There is also an option to add general information, notes, and attachments to each step. The project templates can also be packaged by the Solution Packager. The Implementation Project tool can really aid a faster implementation via a more streamlined implementation process based on predefined steps. It can also reduce implementation risks through additional key information which can be added to each step. Let's now introduce you to our new integration capabilities with the new EDI package for SAP Business One. Electronic Data Interchange, commonly referred to as EDI, allows a company to exchange business documents such as sales orders or invoices with their business partners. With Release 9.0, Business One customers can easily get started with EDI communication. To get started, you need the EDI package based on the Business One integration framework and then use the SAP Information Interchange on Demand service. The SAP Information Interchange on Demand service connects with business partners regardless of which EDI formats they are using. Business One customers do not need to be concerned about these formats since the SAP service will take care of all of the mapping and conversions. You just need to connect to this service via the integration framework with its EDI package and map your process or Business One document format to the SAP Information Interchange format. Using this service, you don't need to deal with EDI standards of your business partners anymore, nor with changes in your business partner's format. The integration framework's role is to connect between Business One and the SAP Information Interchange on Demand service. The mapping of your process to the SAP Information Interchange format can be done in the integration framework. Pre-delivered content for sales orders, outgoing delivery and AR invoices makes it easy for you to implement EDI for those processes. You can now easily begin using EDI quickly, and the costs are transparent since the cost for the SAP Information Interchange Service is a monthly fee. We are now going to highlight a number of topics that support the extensibility and supportability of Business One, with a key focus on the new SAP Business One Studio and the new SAP Business One Workflow platform. The first topic will introduce you to the new SAP Business One Studio suite. This is the next generation of Screen Painter, which is far more functionally rich and runs in two modes, standalone mode and a fully integrated mode with Microsoft Visual Studio. SAP Business One Studio is a complete new development that supports all functions available with Screen Painter. Although SAP Business One Studio is not just a form developer like its predecessor, SAP Business One Studio can also define workflows. SAP Business One Studio for Microsoft Visual Studio is an integration of the SAP Business One Studio with Microsoft's Visual Studio Suite. Many partners are very familiar and like to use Visual Studio for creating Business One forms and user interface enhancements. The Business One Forms designer in Visual Studio is the same designer as the standard Windows Forms designer, which many developers are familiar with, which can also help to generate code for new events. The tool is very easy to use and can greatly speed up add-on development, UI API development without a steep learning curve. SAP Business One Workflow is a new platform that enables users to define workflows and corresponding business processes in Business One. It aims to provide greater process transparency and standardization across Business One, increasing user productivity and promoting greater collaboration and efficient communication. This platform is an effective way to control processes. There are two main components to Business One Workflow. The first step is to design your workflow in the SAP Business One Studio, which then enables you to visualize your process within a workflow instance. The next step is the user worklist. The workflow is imported into Business One as tasks in the workflow inbox for user execution and monitoring. The SAP Business One Workflow platform utilizes a workflow engine. Some of the key benefits to SAP Business One Workflow is the ability to control complex business process flows using conditions and manage customized business processes that meet customer-specific business requirements. You can then push tasks to users to monitor and control the workflow process. These workflows can be triggered based on defined conditions. This new platform should decrease the learning curve for onboarding new company processes and support time-sensitive tasks with the ability to monitor and control these tasks. With the development of the SAP Business One Workflow platform, SAP has built the foundations to support complex workflows and will continue to build on this platform in future releases. Some additional extensibility and supportability topics include improvements to handling events in Business One. The UI API has simplified the handling of events in Business One using object-level events. Maintaining code and developing new code will become easier to manage as coding increases. The next topic focuses on the functionality of fixing columns in Business One within some forms. This feature has been extended to the UI API to benefit all partners who would like to leverage this feature in the SDK. And lastly, a number of DI API objects have also been exposed. Now we are going to highlight a number of technical infrastructure enhancements. Firstly, we are going to focus on introducing you to the new System Landscape Directory service, which will handle all security configuration and server management in Business One, displayed within a web interface. It will replace the existing security configuration process in Business One. The System Landscape Directory service is part of the Server Tools installation and is backward compatible for partner add-ons. The System Landscape Directory offers a centralized environment for overall better security and server management. There are now 3 flexible options for logging into Business One with Release 9.0. Option 1 gives you the ability to log into the Business One client using Business One credentials. which is the original approach. Option 2 allows you to bind your Windows account with a Business One user for the first time and then log into the Business One client with the Windows domain credentials. Option 3 allows you to bind your Windows account with a Business One user for the first time, and then no credential is needed when logging into Business One if the Windows session is opened by the bound Windows account. This feature is initially activated via the System Landscape Directory Security Settings section and supports true single sign-on functionality. Currently, a 32-bit operating system's maximum memory consumption for a single process is around 2 to 3 gigabytes. This can be a real problem when running huge reports, for example, and can often lead to crashing due to not enough memory availability. A key technical infrastructure change in Business One has been the ability to support 64-bit processing for the Business One native client, DI API, UI API, SDK, and some SAP add-ons. This will enable use of all of the available memory on a client system for better performance. It will also support much more powerful partner add-ons and allow integration with other 64-bit applications. Some additional technical infrastructure topics include security compliance and data privacy. SAP Business One now supports a standard encryption communication channel between the license server, the Business One client, and DI API add-ons, complying with local and global regulatory mandates for data security and privacy. To safeguard against brute force attacks and security breaches, the system also supports dynamic keys and salted hash user passwords. Any administration and configuration changes will also be stored in a log file for audit purposes. Next, we have a new database user per company credential, which is created during the creation of an SAP Business One company database. This database user can only access the relevant company database and common database, preventing them from accessing any other company databases. Then we come to enhancements with our accessibility standards. To ensure that the ability to access Business One is available to as many people as possible, such as people with disabilities or special needs, Business One is now aligned with SAP's product standard accessibility requirements enforced by the Product Innovation Lifecycle process. And lastly, SAP Business One supports a greater data structure length for specific monetary fields in reports such as the trial balance report, and this will support currencies with large decimal place requirements and ensure more accurate reporting on financial figures. Lastly, we are going to finish off our session highlighting several enhancements to the lifecycle management of Business One, with improvements to the installation and upgrade process and the new remote support platform, Release 3.0. There have been several key changes to the installation and upgrade process, which is part of the overall lifecycle management for Business One. As mentioned in previous slides, there is a new System Landscape Directory for security configuration and server management, set up during the Server Tools installation process. The whole upgrade experience has also been optimized in a number of different ways. Business One now supports full silent test and upgrade modes. There are essentially two upgrade phases, the data collection phase and the execution phase, which allows customers to run an upgrade without any user interaction, supporting full unattended upgrades. You are also able to schedule your silent tests and upgrades at a convenient time. Configuration data management allows you to automatically save, load and define custom settings, which will significantly save you time using automatically saved configuration data. There are also a number of advanced upgrade options for more flexibility. To reduce authentication overheads, no company database authentication is required for upgrades anymore, and to save time, B1I services will also be stopped automatically. The enhancements to the whole upgrade process will save cost and time to partners and their customers. A very important and integral part of the SAP Business One support and management process is the Remote Support Platform, also known as RSP. The Remote Support Platform for Business One provides a much more proactive maintenance of a customer's system. With the release of Remote Support Platform 3.0 for SAP Business One version 9.0, there have been a number of key enhancements to better assess and control your customer's system lifecycle and potentially avoid any issues and overall streamline your maintenance and support process. You now have the ability to create tasks from templates with minimum setup requirements. You can also release these tasks to customers and receive feedback as soon as the tasks are generated. You can now easily run data interface scripts by embedding them into a PowerShell tool to execute automatically when configuration changes are required. You can also add users and manage VAT changes via RSP extended tasks. There are now a number of flexible backup options that you can set additional tasks such as consistency checks to be executed prior to any backups. You can also back up Business One attachments automatically. And lastly, the pre-upgrade tool is always downloaded automatically via RSP and runs your upgrade test in silent mode. Upgrades are only performed when a database is deemed ready. Well, that concludes our session for today. We have covered a number of significant enhancements and features in the major 9.0 release for Business One. I hope this session has given you a good overview of these enhancements and outlined their benefits. Thank you very much for your time.